All right, so I think I'm gonna call it a day. That was pretty tough. Shoulder's not feeling too great. I do know that on the times I'm not successful of making the squat, what happens is I know that I'm not pulling the bar apart, twisting, and then kind of creating this look like an Egyptian sort of thing. That's kind of one of the cues I learned. Like one of those Egyptian paintings that you're like this, but your hands are closed and you're trying to create that movement so that way you force the armpits to go forward, because that's one of the main cues of keeping a good solid stable shoulder into an overhead squat. Some other thoughts is with the weight and some of my stiffness and tightness today, I'm just not feeling it. I'm worn down from yesterday's workout. I did like body weight squats and deadlifts for 10 rounds. Kind of just playing around with some metcons and stuff, but my shoulders just don't feel good. They're tired. I don't feel fresh. I'm pretty worn down. Hopefully tomorrow, I took the day off. I didn't work out today, other than kind of what you just saw. I did a lot of mobilizations. I tried to do thoracic spine, but actually the problem I'm having now is, well, obviously I do have some mobilization errors and mobilization problems, but the problem I'm having today is I just don't have the strength to pull apart and come back. And hold on, Ender. Hold on. And one of my main limiters is being fresh enough to stay strong. Like my brain, I just can pull that bar apart. That's the first thing. That's the first limiter, which is fairly easy. Well, it's not easy, but I can usually overcome that. The problem I am running into is funky feeling in my shoulders, like a bad feeling, rotator cuff strain, and then just issues with the wrist. And I kind of want to quit while I'm ahead. Give my body a day to break from yesterday, and not do a whole ton of squats. Some other thoughts I wanted to talk about too was the pec minor. Got pec major, the major muscle, and then you have the pec minor, which attached to the scapula. I think it's the coracoid process. It's one of those things. The scapula, and then attaches to the rib cage. So you think about that, if it's really tight, it's going to cause that internal rotation in the shoulders, which will make it hard to create this external rotation position or create that torque. Again, one of my other thoughts too is not only being tight in the front, but also being weak, or kind of like don't have the brain power or neurological kind of training to do this while loaded, while positioned right, while everything is the way it's supposed to be. So a lot of practice and strengthening needs to occur from behind the head, preferably when you're not sore and you don't have any issues in your shoulder and wrist. Tomorrow, when I give this a try, I'm gonna wear some wrist wraps, which I didn't wear today. Some other things too is what else is there? Some other things that come to mind. Having a tight bicep, because the bicep attaches to the scapula, or one of them do at least, and they will affect the movement of the scapula when your hands are apart. I'm starting to think that, looking at the anatomy, the rhomboids, when your hands are above your head trying to create this external rotation torque, being able to pull the shoulder blades back, because your shoulder blades aren't depressed. They're retracted, but they're not depressed. They're not fully depressed, at least. What they are is that the shoulder blades will go in an upward rotation, but they'll stay retracted. And one of the things that do that is the rhomboids, minor and major. They kind of help keep everything tight. And when those scapula are able to kind of pinch together, what that will do is allow the humerus to kind of stay in a little deeper, better positioning of the humeral head in the socket, and then you get better external rotation torque from that position. That makes sense to me. Again, like I said before, one of the main cueings that's been helping me that I keep forgetting when I do this is being able to not necessarily bend the bar, is more so pull the bar. Because when you pull the bar hard enough, not only do you get a tighter grip, your arms will automatically go forward. And I'm going to go ahead and try that again. I'm going to load up, figure, hey, why not? Why not give it a try? So, okay, looking back at that, I'm having a lot of trouble with external rotation in this shoulder because I don't have as much range of external rotation on the right side. So I have to kind of pull harder with the right side this way, and then not just pull out this way, but also just turn and spin. I guess another thing that comes to mind too is being set from the very beginning, because I'll pull back, get it back here, squeeze the shoulder blades back, and sometimes I'll just put it above my head and then try to set, and then try to squat, and I can't squat anymore, or I can't get position right. And a lot of that is because I haven't wound up tight enough. In order for me to do that, I need to, after it's on my back, I position myself, I get my grip, and then I need to tighten there. I need to create torque there, squeeze the shoulder blades together, externally rotate, okay? Then press, right? Then pull apart harder, and then push more, and then trust myself enough that if I keep pulling hard enough, pulling the bar apart, and trying to bend it at the same time, I'll be able to maintain a good stable shoulder position and fighting against my own tight musculature. Again, so it's all in the setup apparently. I want to try again, but it's late, and I can't tell you enough how making these videos are actually motivating me to do it. I was pretty discouraged earlier, just I kind of always have been sometimes when you just can't do something when you feel like you should, and it really makes you mad. And as I started making this video, I was just going to talk about the musculature and talk about anatomy, but I decided, hey, you know, as I talk, I get really motivated, and I'm like, okay, I can do something. I'm gonna give this a try. So, anyways, tomorrow will be better. I will be better rested.